Hello, I'm John, and I've been known to play the organ in Christchurch, but not today though. Today it's a reflection about the London Marathon, and it's introduced by the Apostle Paul. The time for my departure is near, he said. I've fought the good fight, I've finished the race, I've kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. That's Paul writing his second letter to Timothy. It's the last chapter, and it's the last chapter of Paul's life too. The second letter to Timothy is believed to be the last letter that Paul wrote, or at least the last that survived for us to read. And it looks as if Paul was executed not long afterwards. He knew he didn't have long to do. As he said to Timothy, the time for my departure is near. And what comes next? What comes after life? What's God got for Paul? He tells us in no uncertain terms, now there is in store for me a crown of righteousness. What kind of a crown has God got in store for Paul? Would it be anything like St Edward's crown in the Tower of London, the really heavy one made of gold with 440 jewels in it? And no, forget that sort of thing. That sort of crown is only for kings and queens. The Greek word that Paul used refers to the olive wreath that was awarded at the ancient Olympic Games. The man who won the race didn't get a gold medal like Usain Bolt or a glittering tiara like Miss World. He got an olive wreath. That was the winner's prize. And Paul was a winner, not a king. Well, actually, he wasn't a winner, and it wasn't even a competitive event. All he says is that he'd finished the race. He was just a finisher, not a winner. And he wasn't really talking about a race either, even though the Greek word is often translated as race. The Greek word has got a lot more to do with the race course than with the race itself. The course rather than the event. I finished the course, was what Paul meant. Think of the London Marathon. It's only a competitive event for a handful of elite athletes. The rest of the field aren't competing with anybody. They just want to finish the course. The last proper London Marathon was in 2019. Do you know how many people ran then? 43,000 people started and 42,500 finished. Like Paul, hordes of them could say, I finished the race. I finished the course, in fact. And that was the only ambition that many of them had. They just wanted to finish the course. It didn't matter how many people got there before them. It didn't matter how many people got there after them. The only thing that mattered was sticking with it and finishing. 99% of them did that. And that's what it should be like for you and me, living the Christian life. Are we sometimes a bit competitive about the Christian life? Do you compare yourself with others? I know I do sometimes. You know the kind of thing. I've covered my share of the cost of the church. Why can't everybody do that? Or I go to church every 2 weeks. What's her excuse? The Christian life just isn't competitive. There's lots of laurels to be handed round. And Paul makes that very clear. What's he saying? There's a victor's wreath which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who've longed for his appearing. Lots of other people are going to get the award as long as they've run the race and stuck with it and finished the course. We haven't had the awards ceremony yet, though. When are the awards going to be handed round? When Jesus comes back, says Paul, referring as he does to that day and to Jesus appearing. We could explore that a lot further, but we haven't got time today. Just one more thing about the London Marathon though. Do you know what the finishers get? They get a medal, all 42,500 of them. Not gold, just base medal. And they get a t-shirt. That's for bragging rights. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. That's an awful lot of t-shirts and an awful lot of medals. So many that there's a second-hand market for medals. You can get London Marathon medals on eBay for £75 or so. You could probably pass off a second-hand medal as something you actually won, but you can't get a second-hand crown of righteousness. They are handed out by the Lord, the righteous judge, and you can't fool the judge when you're standing before his judgment seat. He knows what's second-hand. We can get a lot of second-hand stuff by just going to church and leaving it at that. We can listen to someone else reading the Bible without ever bothering to open it ourselves. We can say amen to the prayers of others without ever trying to communicate with God ourselves. We can listen to loads of useful sermons about the experiences of others without having any personal experience of the Lord. Sunday services can give us a lot of useful, very useful spiritual food, but they're no more than second-hand experiences of our Christian life is confined to an hour or so a week, relying on others. No, we have to run the marathon ourselves and complete the course. Fortunately, we don't have to run it alone. There's thousands running alongside us, encouraging us along the way, any day of the week. It's the course of our life, and Jesus is with us all the way.